Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Craig here with Talking Fish. And you're probably wondering who's on the screen next to me. It is Randy Minch from Ohio Valley Anglers Edge. Um, he's on tonight. It's been quite a while, actually. Probably the last, I don't know, at least 4 weeks or so. So when I first started the podcast idea, he's got Facebook. He runs a really cool Facebook page and he does YouTube videos. He's a kayak angler, a lot of bass tournaments. We'll get into all that. Definitely want to check him out. But he's one of the people that I sent a feeler out to because I was already a member of the page, and he does tournaments, puts on tournaments, fishes tournaments, you name it. He's been grateful to me. He's uh-oh. Let's decline that. Let's see what's going on. All right, we're back. I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully we can edit that out. If not, it is what it is. But anyhow, we've been trying to make this happen for at least a month now.
Right.
So I'm happy to have him on. We're going to talk all kinds of stuff fishing. And he is the first out-of-state guest. He is out of West Virginia. You just want to call it the Wheeling area.
Yeah, yeah, the northern panhandle of West Virginia, Wheeling, in between Wheeling, Weirton, all that area.
Gotcha. But anyhow, man, I appreciate you coming on. That's the
Yeah,
tonight's guest. So how you doing?
doing good, getting ready for the holidays, staying warm. A little bit of lack of fishing right now. The waters are starting to freeze up just enough to where you can't get a lure through the ice, but not good enough to ice fish, which I'm not a big ice fisherman anyways. But the creeks are still, I still try to jump in the creeks every now and then this
Yeah.
time of the year. I can still pull a couple saugers, walleyes, and smallmouths out of the creek right now.
We'll change you on that ice. You got to come up here. Yeah, come up
Yeah.
north. I've already been
Yeah,
on
you
it.
guys got some more, don't you, up there already? You got some ice.
Not so much where I'm at, but 2 hours north of me, we have some ice. I was on ice last weekend, and hopefully we have a little warming trend right now. But hopefully I can get on ice this weekend.
Yeah,
But I like it a little bit more than you, so I'm willing to chase it.
yeah.
So
I honestly, my issue is I've never tried it. I think if I tried it, I'd probably like it, but it's that, I'd be the one to fall through the ice. That's my luck.
right, but
So,
yeah, but ice, no ice. How's the fishing been? I seen you caught some sauger the other day on your page.
yeah, it's slow right now because it's a little hard getting out. The weather has just been at its absolute worst right now in our area, and December's is always cold, but it's never November, December. You usually get quite a few warm days in there where you can go out and get something done. Within a week you can go out
Right.
one or two times. But right now the air temperatures are right below freezing for the most part. I've done it a million times. It gets frustrating. Your line freezing up, your tips freezing up.
Hmm.
So if it's not above 32 degrees, I've kind of been laying back on the fishing. Plus, our winds have been very high. I don't mind fishing the winds, depending on what the fish want and what lure I'm going to use. But if I'm going to do a lot of bottom bouncing with like Ned rigs, jigs, drop shots, and things like that, I don't really prefer to throw them in windy conditions, even though that you can and they still work. I'm just kind of one of them guys where I look for better conditions to fish in. And the last few weeks, it has just been very hit and miss here and there with our weather.
Yeah, we're kind of like that here, more or less because of the ice. Like where
Yeah,
I'm located, we have just enough ice that you can't really fish, but not enough that you can ice fish. So
yeah, that's the same here. All the ponds are pretty much done. They're all got a nice little layer of ice over them. The bigger lakes are getting there, so it's not if you get a boat out, who knows how far you can go before you start chopping up ice, especially with a kayak. But the thing about the creeks though too is one thing has held me back is a lot of the good holes that I found this year, because I do a lot of wading creeks and I'll walk for miles just to find a good hole. I found several this year that I think would be great winter holes, but deer season's in and safety is obviously
true.
my first concern. A lot of these areas that I want to hit in the wintertime, they're kind of out secluded in the woods, a lot of private property around them as the creek goes through. So even with a blaze orange vest on for my safety, I kind of don't want to ruin the guy's hunting trip either, because I can fish
Right.
year round. They only get a couple weeks out of the year to hunt, or you know what I mean. So I just
Yeah.
kind of want to. I'll wait till about January, as long as the creeks ain't really froze up, and I think I'm going to head out in the wilderness to them areas that I found and fish them a little bit for some winter fishing.
Yeah, it makes sense. No sense of making them mad when you can just have it to
Right,
yourself all
right,
summer and spring and
right.
what's a
Yeah,
couple weeks.
right.
Um, so yeah, I've watched your videos. I follow you. You want to talk about some of the tournament stuff? I know, actually, you don't know this yet, but I have the same kayak you have.
Okay,
Um,
awesome, awesome.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so
Um,
here's how everything kind of got started with um, just getting more into fishing, like as a child and growing up and doing a lot of fishing, but a lot of farm ponds, bobbers, worms,
right.
mealworms, things like that. Wanted to start really getting into more fishing and hitting some more areas as I got older and kids growing up and stuff and time allowed it. Well, then I found myself in, well, where is there good places to fish and all that kind of stuff? And there's not really a lot of places out there local in my area that you can go to on Facebook. And there is a couple local YouTubers, and I had discovered them and found some areas that they were fishing. I'm like, okay, I'll go try that out. But the main thing is I wanted to, once I started realizing that it's just not that big in the valley of like communication for fishing. I wanted to kind of open that up, and that's when I started my YouTube channel. When I started going to these local lakes that a lot of people know of, and started fishing and trying different lures, see what works, sharing that with the community in case somebody's new into fishing, wants to hit this area, or wants to go crappie fishing, bluegill, what's going to work. So I'm throwing that out there, and then after that, I started the Facebook page because I figured I wanted to expand the audience and get something going where we can, talk to local fishermen more and interact with them through posts and things like that and messaging and all that. So we started that. Everything was a slow progress. I don't really promote a lot of things that I got going on. I'm not going to bug 5 million other Facebook pages and post my videos out there on them. A lot of them, if you don't pay attention, they don't want that anyways. So you
Yeah.
get flagged. But yeah, that's pretty much how everything kind of got started. And what it's really turned into is more me still learning. I'm learning every time I go out in the water. Rarely,
Yeah, for
not I
sure.
shouldn't say rarely, but a lot of times I don't throw the same lure pretty much all year. I'll throw a couple different lures and then I'll switch. I love trying new lures just to see what works, and I love sharing that info with people in the community. So that way, if they want to get out there and do something, they may have this lure in mind, but it might be expensive, and I'm out there not getting nothing on it, or I can take something similar that's half the price, save that person some time and money, and get them out there and get them on the fish. I did a video over the summer on, and I don't want to dog names on here, companies, they may want to sponsor me one day, but the Mega Bass Pop X.
Yep.
It is a great lure, no doubt. It does its job. There's no doubt it catches fish, but it's also like an $18 lure. I have custom lure builders that I've met through my Facebook, Ohio Valley Anglers Edge, which I know of three. I think a fourth one just joined on there not long ago. So we got like 4 custom lure builders on there. He literally gets the same blanks, paints them up to whatever scheme you want, which is nice because sometimes you don't want to buy 10 different lures. You know what couple lures you want, and I can tell
Yep.
my buddy Chris from CNR and say, hey, give me this color scheme in the Mega Bass Pop X. I want to go out there and nail some smallmouth, and within a few days he's got that ready for me, and it's literally half the price, from the actual Mega Bass. Plus, a lot of other poppers that are half the price or even 3/4 of the price are going to work about the same. So that's one of the things that I like to do. I like to go out there and try a lot of different lures, see what works, what's worth it, what's not worth it, on all these local bodies of water. So that way, a lot of people are going out there and they kind of have a game plan. If you're just getting into fishing and you're new to it and you don't know what really to, you can go to Cabela's and spend an
Oh
ungodly
yeah,
amount of money
that's a
on
fact.
just a handful of lures. And
Yep,
we've all done it. We
for
all go
sure.
out there with new lures. We'll watch a YouTube video of what is it, tactical
100%.
bassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll watch tactical bass or one of them guys, or go out there and say this lure is gonna get you, and you'll throw it for 3 weeks and be like, I've caught nothing but weeds.
Right.
So that's and the Facebook thing has really I've got a lot of great feedback off of Facebook. We do a lot of great things for the the people on Facebook that are on Ohio Valley Anglers Edge. One of the things I like to do to interact with all the people I have on that group is we do the monthly giveaway, and we also do the monthly photo contest. I've had that Facebook page now for a little over 2 years. The very first month I started it, I had one of my pictures of my fish on there. Since that first month, it's obviously never been one of my pictures on there. It's always been one of the members' pictures on there, because we do a monthly contest where they get to put, they get a chance to enter their picture on the page for the most likes, and that becomes the monthly photo winner for the monthly photo picture for that month coming up. So, and then also I'll have a few lures that I'll give away to them too. If they win, they'll get a little lure package we send out to them. So,
yeah, I'm familiar with that because I've never I've never won one.
yeah, you just did you was in the Christmas one too. I was kind of hoping you would have got up there, but yeah, that's usually a big one, and it's a lot of people jump in on that one. The Christmas. Yeah. This is our second year doing the Christmas giveaway. Last year and this year both, we had over $300 worth of prizes to give out to everybody. So for the top 3 contestants that won, yeah. So that's a pretty cool thing that we do.
Based off your page alone, just seeing it's just cool to see the pictures and the likes and all that. Mm-hmm. I've kicked it around doing that myself. I mean, if you ever see it, you'll know right now that I stole it from you. But,
take it away, man. It's fun because it gives the members an opportunity to be a part of the page. They're not just they're not there to see what I do every day or somebody that gets to fish a lot. They're a part of the page. And one of the things I do on my Facebook page too, that, a lot of Facebook pages, if you're trying to promote your YouTuber, your Instagram, if you're trying to promote your page when it comes to fishing, a lot of groups will not allow it. They will not allow you to promote videos. I 100% allow it. And that's one of the reasons why I made my page, is because people need a place to get your name out there, because just by going on YouTube alone, posting a video, it may not get the views. It may be a slow start.
Yeah, and so I ran into that problem over here out by me, which makes zero sense, because I tried to post something on a page, and it said, you can only post pictures of fish caught here, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that's fine, and I'll abide to that. I get it. But then you see all these other people that aren't. So it's kind of like I'm not saying all pages, but there's some pages moderator's description.
It is. You're 100% right. What you just said word for word, I've had happen to me on a couple pages. I got some denied, and then next day I'm like, well, why is this guy's YouTube video on there?
Right, and it's like, whatever. I mean,
you just move on to the next page, and so that's one of the reasons why my page is kind of a standout page, is people can promote. You can buy, sell, trade, whatever you want, as long as it's fishing oriented or something outdoors that I think somebody on the community would like. I got people, sometimes I'll post a 4-wheeler for sale. As outdoor enthusiasts, we could all probably use a 4-wheeler if it's a good price. So, like I said, I got 3 to 4 bait makers on there that promote their lures all the time. And I love that, because I'll actually go to some of my tournaments, and I'll tell these guys, I'll be like, hey, if you guys really want a deal, get with so-and-so, or get with Joe Webb, or get with Chris Smith. And they'll be like, I got some off Chris. So it's awesome that these guys are getting their products out there. They're making a little side hustle, and they're also, you tailor to what these guys want as fishermen. They're tailoring to their needs. I can send Chris a whole skew of colors right now. I'll be like, hey, make something happen. I'm going after bluegill in a week, and he's gonna, I'll give him some ideas, and he'll come up with it to where if I go and want to buy something off of Bobby Garland's page or something, it may not be the exact color I want, or it may not be something I know the fish are going to really be interested in, where I can have these guys make exactly what I want. And to have that at your fingertips, especially when you're in tournament competition, when you really want to maybe grab a few extra bites over the next guy, that's a huge key right there. That's a big plus.
So the guy that makes the Megabass Poplar thing,
can
he get the blanks for the Megabass jerkbait?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ooh. The 110s. Yep. He'll get you anything you want. He makes fun of me because I posted a picture not long ago. I was catching some fish on some jerk baits, and one of them was a Megabass, and he gets mad sometimes because he's like, "Why are you buying these lures still and using them? I have these lures for you waiting at half the
Right.
price." And I'll tell him, I'll be like, "Well, that's part of my YouTube scheme is going out and trying lures of popular brands,
Right.
see are they worth it or not, you know?" And he gets it. He just jacks with me sometimes, but yeah, and honestly, I actually have. Just to give you an idea, Craig, what I did every Christmas, and I hope this shows up on my camera. I think my lighting is good enough. But Christmas is when I buy a lot of my lures in bulk. Okay, so there's a web page out there called, and you ain't gonna believe the name of this web page. It's called Sugar Tits. Okay, I don't even know how I found it, but
I'm
the
not gonna
deal,
ask.
right? The deals this time of the year and year long, I always look for deals because I give away a lot of lures every month and stuff. And every year, even in our bass competitions, if we're going to fish somewhere where Bar Camp, Ohio is a place, the fishing there has just not been good the last couple of years. A lot of guys don't even want to show up and fish our tournaments because they're either going to get skunked, they're going to catch a bunch of undersized fish, or one or two fish is pretty much going to determine the winner if it's over 15 inches long. So we'll do little lure giveaways too. Be like, well, whoever gets the smallest fish and logs it and sends a picture, or whoever gets a fish that's between 13 and 15 inches, we'll do a lure giveaway. We'll make it fun, you know. These have these blanks. These are, I don't know how good it's going to show up on the camera. These are Megabass Pop X blanks. Okay, they got rattles in them. The only thing, like this one right here, I don't even need it painted. It's white. White is one of your major colors for topwater. I got a couple eyes I can throw on there. Treble hooks. We upgrade treble hooks on most of these lures anyways. This lure cost me 98 cents.
Oh my.
Okay. 98 cents for this. I bought 5. I got a whole bunch here I bought of different kinds, but this is just a perfect example. I got a bag here. I bought 5 of them. 98 cents. And this is the stuff I like to share on my page. I want to help everybody out because I was that guy that was lost. I was lost I went down the rabbit hole. You know, I'm going to Cabela's and I'm buying this, buying that. I'm watching every YouTube video I can find. And here you find out half these guys are sponsored. So they're going to push one certain lure. Most of these YouTubers that you see out there, they put themselves in great fishing areas to catch fish and big fish. So that it's very, and I could do that too if I wanted to travel. But my whole gig here is this area. Yeah, I do travel here and there, and I'll go to other places and fish. But you know, I'm not going to put myself to where when I go fishing, I'm not going to put myself where I'm going to keep catching consistently 5 to 6 pound bass, you know, or bucket size, 5-gallon bucket size crappies. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fish here locally and show you guys what our local area has to offer. You're going to get a nice one here and there. It ain't going to be all the time, but a lot of times I get skunked. But I could be like them big YouTubers that go down to, you know, South Texas, Florida, and put themselves in great position. And it's very impressive. Don't get me wrong, but we don't do that here. We like to get out there and we like to struggle, as most of us are going to do, especially this time of year. The creeks are still open. People are still trying to fish the creeks. It's a struggle right now. You know, I'm going out there spending 5 hours catching 2 or 3 fish, getting some bites, but landing 2 or 3. You know, where YouTubers down south, they're pulling in huge smallmouth, largemouth all day long. But here's another one, just an example. This is the Spro wake bait, and it comes with a tail. The only thing I need for this is eyes. This will need a paint job, so I'll probably get these to Chris. I got 5 of them, but these were, I think, about $1.03. These are like a 20, 30, depending on the size of the Spro wake bait you get, they're like $20, $30.
Yeah.
So once again, that's what we do. We share deals with everybody. So I actually just got these yesterday, so I hadn't had a chance to like lay them out, take a picture, kind of explain to everybody. But that'll be in the next couple of days. I'll get that out there to everybody. Cool. But like I said, we just try to share that love with everybody out there in the fishing community.
I know the one video I watched, I think it was a few years ago. You actually got some crappie on top water in a little creek.
I did. I did. And that
super cool. Like, wow.
Yeah, that was on the Megabass Baby Pop X. That was on Wheeling Creek, and that was just one of them. That was weird as heck. First of all, never caught crappie out of that creek. Never caught crappie on the topwater before. Land 2 nice ones. I think I measured them in that video too. They were 2 very nice sized crappie. Yeah. But we did have not a huge flood, but a flood not long before that. And, you know, I talked to some other local fishermen, and they said that they probably come down from the floodwaters from a lake that's a little bit farther up. But,
gotcha.
I mean, yeah, you ain't going to know what you can do until you get out there and do it. And That's what I love to
Right.
do. Get out there and hit these local waters and see what we got going on out there.
Um, I don't know where do you want to do next? Do you? We can
We can talk
talk.
about the tournaments and that.
What's that?
We can talk about the tournaments if you want.
Yeah, yeah, because that's something that I've never really got into. I've wanted to, but if you guys look up his YouTube page, he does a lot of kayak tournaments.
Hmm.
Yeah, let me like. Is the scene down there just better? Because up here, well, I
Um,
shouldn't say that. There is some good bass. There is some good. I shouldn't say it's not good up here, but there's some bass circuits up here. But yeah, man, it seems like you're always on the Ohio River doing a tournament.
well, in my area, the Ohio River is the best fishery that we have.
Hmm.
Without a doubt, it is the best fishery. The smallmouth bass are thriving in the Ohio River, and it's an intimidating river fishing. And I didn't realize this when I got into kayak fishing. It wasn't really that big of a deal to me, but with new anglers in the kayaking industry, it's the rivers are intimidating. So it
Yes.
took a while for us to get some of our guys that like the kayak fish with us. It took a while to get them out on the river. But once, we try to mix it up. We'll do like, I think Jason runs the kayak page, the Ohio Valley Bass Yackers. And I'm just going to throw this out because we do a lot of tournaments every year. He throws out a lot of tournaments. But I think we do like 6 lakes and 6 river. We try to mix it up. We fish these local lakes around here, and it just, I hate to say it about our area, they're just not that great of fisheries. Then when these guys get on the Ohio River, and they're pulling in 3-4 pound smallmouth every so often and getting a lot of smallmouth, catching a lot of fish. Then you catch, obviously you get your surprise fish, your drum, your stripers, your walleye. It's just fun fishing when you're catching fish. These guys are like, hey, I like the river. Let's do this
Oh
more.
yeah.
So it's you got experience to get a love for it. It's a little intimidating at first, but yeah, we do a lot of river fishing. The closest body of water to me is the Ohio River. It's literally like 6 minutes away.
Nice.
So I'm always on the river just because it's convenient. It's a good fishery, and after about 3 years now of hitting the river pretty consistent out on the water instead of the bank fishing like I used to always do. Starting to really get a good feel of it and starting to find the really good hot spots in that and the changes of time of the years and how things happen. Starting a really good, comfortable feel for the river. So it's a lot of fun to go out there and just rip into them. And a lot of fish fight and a lot of people get into these arguments that this fish fights harder than this fish, but a smallmouth that's used to being in current, especially the creek smallmouths, you're not going to beat that fight.
No.
That is a fight that's a thrill. There's a lot of times where I'm fighting one coming in and I'm thinking this is going to win me the tournament, and I pull him in
Right.
and it's like a 12-inch fish, but they're fighters. Sometimes you don't know what you got until you get it into the net. So
Yeah, I've always said if a smallmouth got 40 pounds, it wouldn't be safe to swim.
no, we
They're
all
just
be in
mean.
trouble.
They're just mean, and they're just
They're,
mean. It's
yeah,
simple as
they
that.
they are just so much fun. When you get on that
Yep.
top water bite with smallmouths, it's amazing. It is just absolutely amazing. And once you get that first bite, you're hooked for good. You're done. You're done.
Yep. Yep.
So, and then one of the reasons why I got into, I want to throw this out there because a lot of people are, you know, so the tournament fishing with kayaks in our area, we have averaging sometimes 12 guys that enter our tournaments up to 16, 17 guys. And it's been consistently like that for the last 3 years that Jason's been doing these kayak tournaments. But a lot of people they just don't understand kayak tournaments. And, we try to explain it to them. It's a measuring board. It's an app
Right.
on your phone and you catch the fish. But a lot of people are just intimidated by that and they just don't really want to get involved with it. But it is so much fun. Like I have a boat and a kayak. 90% of the time I'm taking the kayak out. It's quicker, easier. I can get into better locations with the kayak. I've caught fish right beside the kayak before. So I think it's more of obviously a stealthy method to get out there.
For sure.
But one of the reasons why I got into these tournament fishings is, through my experience in my eyes. Nothing will turn you into a better angler than if you start getting into tournaments fishing, whether it's a crappie tournament, a bass tournament, a muskie tournament. I did them all last year. Nothing's going to push you harder and make you fish harder than when you're in a tournament scenario. Plus the knowledge you get from these veterans that show up.
Yep.
I'm not young either, but I'm going to call them old timers. But
Yeah.
these old timers that's been fishing these bodies of water for 30, 40 years, some of them ain't going to share no love with you. Some of them are going to give you some tips and pointers. That's critical to get that from somebody that's been hitting bodies of water for 30, 40 years, especially like the Ohio River. I gained a lot of knowledge from just meeting these experienced anglers at these tournaments, pre-tournament and after the tournament. When you're talking around BSing and that, you'll get so much info. But when you're out there just normal fishing, you're just normal fishing. You might not switch up lures. You may not care about your colors. You're just out there fishing, trying to catch a couple fish. If you don't get bit within an hour or two, a lot of times you hang it up and you're heading back in. When you're in a tournament scenario, and this just may be me, I'm very competitive, but also I'm just there for the experience too. Trust me, as many tournaments as I was in this past year, I think I won half a dozen. I came in the top 3 in so many tournaments, but just couldn't get a lot of them wins. Just was always falling just short. But when you're out there fishing in a tournament, you're not going to give up. You're going to fish that whole 8 hours. You're going to fish hard. Yep. You're going to try different scenarios. You're going to hit parts of that body of water that you may have never thought of hitting because you're going to want to move and you're going to see where the fish are at. Whereas if you're just out there playing around, you're going to give up. It's a whole different ball game. So I actually recommend to anybody that really wants to get good at fishing, try to get into some of these tournaments. If you don't have a boat, try to jump on somebody that has a boat, be a co-angler. Kayak, if you want to get into tournaments, kayak is a much cheaper option, obviously, than boat tournaments. But kayaks can be very expensive, as you know from your kayak, because I know what I paid for mine. Obviously, it's almost a $5,000 kayak, and then you got fish finders and stuff. You got to throw on their batteries, lithium batteries. It is not a cheap sport, but you can get into it at a decent price, and you can do really well. Some of our bodies of water, are like the lakes, obviously, are smaller bodies of water. Other than like we do Piedmont, it's a very large lake. You're going to probably want a trolling motor for that lake. But a lot of our bodies of water are very easily to be paddled throughout the day, and you're not going to wear yourself out. The river. I made that mistake in my first river tournament that I was in. It was the first time I was actually on the river in a kayak, and I was just paddling an old Perception Outlaw. And, it was great. I was doing really good in this tournament, and I was fishing really good, and I'm just drifting downstream. Tournament's over. Next thing I realize, I'm 2 miles from the ramp, and I got to go up current. And that was the last time I ever paddled a kayak on the water. I got home and I started looking at trolling motor setups for kayaks because when you're competitive into fishing like that, you got to have something to move you around and get you. And that's when I made the next leap up to the better kayak. That's why, and probably same with you, I went with the Old Town Autopilot 120 because it's already got the motor on there.
Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, Craig, but with me, I love that kayak, but it's like a love-hate relationship. I wish I had a little bit more room in the front there where that motor's at, because when you're trying to measure fish, you got your net there and all that stuff, it can be a little bit of a hassle, but I make do. It's just a minor thing, it's good to go. But
yeah, it honestly was a little ahead of its time.
You're right.
In my opinion, they cut the cloth or whatever, and now there's probably better options from other companies I've seen. I forget the name of it, but Death Sucker looks like a little bass boat now. It's got a front deck you can stand on.
You're probably talking about the Bonafide XTR 130.
Yes.
It is one of our guys, George, has got that in our tournaments, and he gave us the opportunity to get in it one day after a tournament.
Nice.
And it was a boat. It's a boat.
Yeah.
I'm not stable in a kayak when it comes to standing. I was walking all over that Bonafide. So that's an awesome kayak.
Yeah. The one thing, too, I like about the kayaks, we're talking high-end kayaks right now, they cost a lot of money, and people are like, well, why don't you get a John boat? Why don't you get this? Why don't you get that? Well, there's not that much upkeep. You're not worried about, you're thrown in the back of a pickup. I can take a kayak down to your place. I don't have to worry about bearings. I don't have to worry about this and that, gas. Right. I'm not saying, trust me, I'm eventually one day I will have a boat. But some of the knocks on the kayaks, I'm like, well, pretty much just put a battery on it, and then it's up to you if you want to, whatever kind of fish finding system. Some people have shallow water anchors. possibilities are endless, but
Yeah.
the upkeep's kind of nice when you're done, you just put it in the garage.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can wipe it down every now and then, clean it out if you need to. But, you know, it simplifies. Like when I take my boat out, I have a 16-foot, pretty much like a big, it's a big John boat, but it's a flat bottom aluminum boat. I'll have every lure that I own in that boat just because I have the room for it. I'll have 18 rods. But when I take that kayak out, I've got it so minimalized and simplified to where I'm going to stick with it. It just makes it a little bit easier, you know, to take the kayak out. I'm not taking a whole bunch of stuff because I don't have the room for it, for one thing. And it just, there's just something about being on a kayak in the water. I just feel it's so much more, I feel you're more peaceful and at home on the water in a kayak than you are a boat. So that's why kayak has become my favorite part of fishing. The kayak fishing is my go-to pretty much. But like I said, I'll get that boat out. Well, obviously I do a lot of muskie tournaments with the Husky Muskie Club out of Ohio. And obviously I'm going to use my boat for that because the kayak with our measuring boards and stuff that we use for the muskies, I'd probably make it happen. I know people do. I just haven't went down that road yet with the kayak. So yeah, we do the boat for that.
Man, tell me, I'm interested. I see in these bass tournaments on the Ohio, you catch a lot of walleye.
Yeah, it depends on what time of the year you're fishing. It's funny you mentioned that because when I target walleye, I don't catch them. But because this right now is walleye time of the year around here, you know, and I've went out once so far, but I do plan on going out and getting some more walleye here soon. But yeah, when you're bass fishing, them walleye, depending on the time of the year, the fall into the winter is usually when you're going to catch most of your walleye fishing. And they're pretty much right in the same area as the smallmouth are. They all kind of, at this time of the year, they start congregating, hanging out together. And, you know, walleye, and I didn't really know this until last year. I've kind of picked up on this, but walleye love jerk baits. And I wish I had known that before. And then that's what I caught. You know, I started, I never really had a love for a jerk bait. For some reason, this fall, I decided to pick one up. I was like, I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to try this. You know, I have a bunch of them. I don't even put them in my bag when I go fishing because it's just one of them lures I always just stay cleared of. Well, this year I started just getting into it, committing to it. You know, you got to get out there and you got to throw that lure. You got to keep throwing it. You don't want to give up on it. And it may not even be that day you're out there. You go out a day or two later. Things change on the water all the time. So I'll take, you know, and I committed to that jerk bait and I started really, really catching fish on it. And then as I'm getting by these bridge piers, the walleye, that's where they were all hanging out. I caught some smallmouth around the bridge pier, but the walleye this year when I was fishing on these fall tournaments, I had to get away from the piers. The one tournament I was like, I got to get out of here because I kept catching walleye and sauger left and right. And I'm like, this is fun, but these ain't going to win me the tournament. So, you know, I had to move out of that area. But yeah, that's, we do catch a lot of our guys because we all not only are we in these kayak tournaments together, we have a separate little Facebook Messenger chat that we have that we're all on. And as we're fishing these tournaments, you know, we'll be sending pictures back and forth of what we're catching and drum, walleye, and sauger. I mean, it is nonstop. And we always tell our tournament director, Jason, like, will you just have one of these tournaments for drum or for sauger or something so we can do something with these fish when we catch them. You know, let's do like a walleye tournament or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast. The kayak tournaments, like I said, it's a great group of guys. Jason runs that. I always help him. He always comes to me for help, and I have no issues helping him because it's hard to do that as a single, you know, person to run a tournament group like that. So I'll give him a hand when I can, but he's a great guy. The guys that are in that tournament, great guys. Like I said, we're year round in our Facebook Messenger chat, and we're always helping each other out. One person has a question, you're going to get 10 different answers, and then we're going to fight over that answer that we gave you. You know, they might be asking what's the best life vest to use, or you know, what kind of. Right now, we're all respooling our reels, obviously, from the long season that we just had. So, you know, a lot of talk about fishing lines, best line for the spinning rod, casting rod, braid, fluoro. You know, so we're always constantly. It's just a great group of guys helping each other out.